murder of Laci Peterson in 2002 is one of the most infamous criminal cases in modern U.S. history. It drew widespread media attention and became a focal point in discussions about domestic violence. The criminal justice system and media influence on trials. Here's an overview of the case. Laci Denise Rocha Peterson was born on May 41, 1975 in Modesto, California. She married Scott Peterson, her college boyfriend, in 1997. The couple lived in Modesto, where Laci worked as a substitute teacher and Scott worked as a fertilizer salesman. By late 2002, the couple was expecting their first child, a boy they planned to name Connor. Laci was 8 months pregnant when she disappeared on December 24, 2002. Laci was reported missing by her stepfather, Grantski. Scott claimed that he had last seen Laci that morning at their home, before leaving for a solo fishing trip at Berkeley Marina, about 90 miles away. According to Scott, Laci planned to walk their dog Mackenzie and then bake cookies for a family Christmas celebration. Later that day, Mackenzie was found wandering the neighborhood with its leash attached, but there was no sign of Laci. The Modesto Police Department began an extensive search for Laci involving thousands of volunteers. Law enforcement and media coverage. These search expanded to surrounding areas, including parks, waterways, and rural regions. Laci's family made emotional public appeals for her safe return. As the investigation progressed, Scott Peterson became a prime suspect. Authorities and the public grew suspicious due to his behavior, inconsistencies in his statements, and his lack of emotional response. Several key factors contributed to this suspicion. One, fishing alibi. Scott claimed to have gone fishing in the San Francisco Bay, but this seemed unusual given the cold December weather. Investigators later focused on this location. 2, affair with Amber Frey. On December 30, Amber Frey, a Fresno massage therapist, came forward and revealed that she had been dating Scott Peterson for over a month. She claimed Scott had told her he was single and had lied about his wife. Most damningly, Scott had told Amber in early December that he had lost this wife and this would be his first Christmas without her. 3, behavior. Scott was perceived as unemotional and detached even during public vigils and press conferences. He sold Laci, inquired about selling their house, and flirted with Amber Frey. While these search for his wife continued for tracking Scott's movements, police placed a GPS tracker on Scott's car and observed his suspicious behavior, including trips to the marina. On April 13, 2003, the remains of a small male fetus were found along the shore of the San Francisco Bay. The next day, a decomposed female torso was discovered about a mile away. DNA testing confirmed the remains were those of Laci Peterson and her unborn son Connor. The bodies were so decomposed that a specific cause of death could not be determined. But Laci had suffered trauma, and the condition of her body suggested foul play. Scott Peterson was arrested on April 18, 2003 in La Jolla, California. At the time of his arrest, the had his blonde grown a bearded and was carrying cash camping gear and his brother's identification. Prosecutors argued these actions indicated he was planning to flee the country. Scott was charged with 2 counts of murder, first-degree murder for Laci and second-degree murder for Connor. The case against him is largely circumstantial but relied on a combination of motive, opportunity, and his inconsistent behavior. Scott Peterson's trial began in 2004 and was one of the most highly publicized in U.S. history. The prosecution argued that Scott had killed Laci to escape their responsibilities of marriage and fatherhood, and to continue his affair with Amber Frey. They presented the following evidence: circumstantial evidence. Scott's changing Olivish's lies to Amber Frey and his financial difficulties pointed to a possible motive. Boat and marina connection. Investigators theorized that Scott had transported Laci's body to the San Francisco Bay in his fishing boat. Witnesses testified that Scott had purchased a small boat shortly before the murder, which he had not mentioned to anyone. Amber Frey's testimony. Frey recorded phone conversations with Scott were played for the jury. In these conversations, Scott continued to deny disinvolvement even as the search for Laci intensified.